Hi everyone, it's Killshot from 99 Gaming's The Walking Dead Season 8 Episode 4 reaction video. This is it's a rough night, man, I gotta tell you. I'm glad we don't do these live. I'm just trying to process a little bit of the storyline. So we're not going to do a step-by-step recap, but this did focus a lot on the story as we talked about in the spoiler. So I'm just going to go through a couple things that I kind of observed from the episode, my general reaction to it, and then just add a little bit of a spin and just call on a few of you guys and just see what your reaction is. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. I thought it was one of the better ones. Very well played out. I thought the acting was phenomenal. And going through the spoiler, you sort of visualize. I mean, you get the lines and a little bit of script from it, but then you sort of have to piece it together to find out, you know, the way things happen. I know earlier tonight we talked about how the chase scene would go down with Rick and Daryl. It was a little different than the way we portrayed it, and then toward the end there with Ezekiel going back, that did I think kind of pan out the way that we were talking about. So appreciate all of you guys being here. As you guys can see, we're going to do a little bit of the therapy side of it, I guess. Not devastating, the Shiva death to me. It wasn't as sad as I thought it was going to be. But when I watched it, the replay of it, kind of the second time around, there were a few things that I did notice about it, because the first thing you're thinking is, why doesn't Shiva just kind of swoop in and just take care of walkers? Because when she went in, she did take the first walker and tossed him away from Ezekiel and the group. And my feeling was that she just gave up. Instead of fighting a few, I think she wanted to be bait and just laid there and let herself die so they could get away. I mean, that was kind of the sad part. Ezekiel wanted to go in and just throw his body in there and help. And I think very similar to last week, it was kind of like the reaction of Aaron when Eric died. Well, it was a little bit of just kind of hearing Shiva. You could hear a little bit of that moan, and then Ezekiel just wanted to go in there and couldn't. So that's a little bit of my feeling to it. I'm going to open it up for a few of you guys, because I know some people are just sort of watching it and processing it. And as you guys know, I got a soft spot for kittens and cats. So I don't care if it was CGI. I still, that relationship and then how it's going to impact Ezekiel, I think is very big. It's very profound. So if you guys are new here, appreciate all of you guys being here for a little bit of the reaction. Also, the way we do our videos, it's we're going to pick a topic, we'll talk about it, but I'll call on you and read a lot of your comments. So for example, Julie says, it was sad to watch Shiva go down. I got stuck in the mud and then realized she would have to die to save the king. And that's what I thought too. It wasn't that she could just jump in and jump out and jump in and jump out. I mean, she went there, and the first one was just thrown away from the group. So I was hoping she would go in and just kind of just start grabbing them and, flailing them back in the air. But you just realized that once there were 2 or 3, she just kind of just laid down and gave up. So let's read a couple more comments here. Let's see, Zane Thomas, I like Shiva, but really feel like, let me get this comment, because you guys are typing pretty quick here. I feel like this is what they get for postponing the war, since it couldn't start without the kingdom. Yeah, well, I guess it was going to be written in there regardless. But, yeah, the striking a little bit quicker. And then we saw Negan and Father Gabe, so we think a lot of that's going to be just kind of simultaneous. Too much time hasn't passed. May even be a little bit of a happened before these events happen. They may go back in time just a little bit, maybe a day or so. So Josh Ethier said, love Jerry's performance. Yeah, I love Jerry's performance tonight too. I think that was important, that even when Ezekiel loses faith in himself, that Jerry still keeps the faith in him. What's up, John? Thanks for being here, man. What's up? What's up to my mods? I see you. Yeah, Jerry with the weapon was great. So earlier tonight, if you guys saw the countdown, and just so you know, during the week, a couple things to expect. We do our predictions on Wednesday. We'll post some spoilers usually on Thursday, and then we review some of the spoilers on Sunday. So when we got to the countdown, one of the things that I asked was tonight's episode, because we didn't have that information, some guy, and a lot of people were spot on. We didn't know if it would be Gunther, who actually, he was belittling Ezekiel quite a bit, and that bothered me, especially the face painting thing. That really, really irked me. And I saw the actor said that his whole goal was for everybody to hate him, and I think he accomplished that. But yeah, that was a little tough to watch. And then the poll that we did was, whether it was Gunther that was saying, you're just some guy, or Ezekiel, and we did find out it was Ezekiel. And for Ezekiel to say that in that moment, like I'm nobody, I'm nothing, basically I'm a fake, I'm some guy, it was tough seeing that. And then he just walked by the people at the kingdom, and whether he'll recover from that, it's your guess is as good as mine. That may not be something that he can just rebound from. Some people say he reminded me of Jim Carrey. When I first saw him, I'm like, this dude. Yeah, I guess if Jeffrey Dahmer and Jim Carrey had a child, that would be what he would look like. Let's see. Get a couple more comments in here. Halo 3, Greybot says Shiva was pretty awesome. Yeah, certainly. I would have liked to seen a little bit more. I mean, we did get to see last episode where she jumped in and saved the day. But with so many other things going on, it was hard to. I mean, look, Shiva had a moment with Daryl. She jumped in and saved Carl. She helped him last week. And then, so I think, she got an adequate amount of airtime. A little more than the comic. What's up, Aaron? Thanks for popping in. Yeah, Carol was amazing. Carol was back to brutal Carol. Hey, thanks, Villar. Appreciate you being here. So, hey, this is, in these tough episodes, not only would we do reactions, we'll just come hang out and sort of vent a little bit, the frustrations, and, some people were watching. They were pretty emotional. I get that. I was not, I wasn't as emotional in this episode as something like the Glenn scene. Even Abraham, I wasn't very emotional with Abraham, and Abraham was my favorite character. I loved Abraham, but I expected that. And, so far for me, the saddest scene that I've seen is when Glenn got hit with the bat and he's trying to say Maggie. I mean, that's disturbing. Tonight wasn't as much, and I guess the reason it wasn't as sad for me is because I felt more like it was the right thing to do. When you sacrifice to help someone else out, it wasn't just she was going into attack and died. It was just, okay, I was sort of at peace with it. Even though Ezekiel wasn't at peace with it, he didn't like it, I was okay with it, like, wow, that's a pretty awesome thing. And it's sort of, yeah, Junior, we hate that too, but just the way you articulated that might be a little bit extreme. I'm not sure the moderator's going to let that pass. Yeah, the moderators will be a little bit lenient, obviously, in some of these emotional episodes, but they're still going to filter it quite a bit. So just be careful how you articulate your thoughts. Yeah, Deidre, I think so. Glenn to me was the worst one so far. Well, and I know Beth hurt people a lot. I will tell you though, some of the earlier deaths really didn't hit me that much because I was binge watching it. If I had to watch it and then process and then wait a week, it probably would be a little bit more. But when you're watching it like one after another, yeah, not quite as bad. Yeah, knowing so we start out with this I mean as a mini flashback, wasn't a couple day flashback, right? Where Ezekiel is really being questioned by Carol, you know, can he handle it? Does he have the wherewithal to really go out and kill? And I mean, he's a salesman. He sold it. But when you see that kind of all for one and then he's covered up, and that's the part of the spoiler that I knew is that he had been shot in the leg and he was damaged, and I knew I was going to have a hard time watching that because you put yourself in the position of Ezekiel and all these people that trust in you. That might have actually been, I think that was as sad in the episode as Shiva dying at the end. Is all the people they showed in the beginning, they really set this real somber mood, and you saw the flowers being put in the armband, and then for Ezekiel to have to look at those people that quickly. It's not just one person. It's not, and granted, I get it. You know, Rick and Shane were tight, and you see Shane all of a sudden, but this is like 30 people or 40 people, whatever they brought with them, and you know their families, you know their kids, and they're relying on you, and you've been telling them like nobody's going to die here, and then you're being attacked by them, so you get to see them, and then you get to see that animation of them right at that moment. So, and when I watch that again tomorrow, I'll go back and I'll watch the episode and review it before I start doing some videos of it. I think Ezekiel's reaction when he was sliding across there and looking at each person's face, that's going to kind of hit me again too. So I'm going to read a few of your comments because, as we said before, this is the reaction side of it. And just give me 1 second, I'll get to a couple comments. Just want to make a couple announcements. A couple people are new here with the channel. If you guys could just slap that like button, that would be awesome. I appreciate all of you guys showing up. On Sunday, and I'll just start on Sundays because Sunday is like the big day for us. On Sunday, we do just chill with kills early in the morning, 11 o'clock. Casual gaming, just talking about whatever. And then Sunday nights at 8 o'clock, we always do the Walking Dead countdown. And then we do the reaction video that we're doing right now. And then on Monday nights, we'll get into some recaps. Tuesday, random things. We come up with 5 or 6 topics. Some of it will be related to Walking Dead, but it ranges from music to anything else that's out there. And Wednesday, we do our predictions. Thursday is when I will post the spoilers most times. And, you know, just some comic book reads and some filler stuff in there between gaming and a few other things. And appreciate all of you guys being a part of this channel. It's amazing, amazing fan base. Walking Dead fans and 999 fans are the most passionate people by far. You guys are just awesome. I appreciate that. So Sinister Bullet says, I'm not complaining, but there was a bit more gore in this episode. I hope they don't get complaints for that. They will. I mean, they always do, right? So when it started out with the raw arm kind of missing, I think they push it a little bit more. They're going to go to the extent they can get away with. But somebody will complain about it. Hey Seth, thanks for being here. Appreciate you popping in this live stream. And one of the things you can see, one of the moderators posted up there as well. You guys make sure to check out our 999 Walking Dead Army Facebook page. Just a chance to communicate all throughout the week. We got some memes posted. We talk about various topics. Don't really post a lot of spoilers in chat, although there will be some spoiler videos posted you can click on from time to time. But it's pretty awesome family and you know, just a way to network and become closer to the group. Appreciate that. Hassan says, can we please give some love to Carol on how she handled that situation? Absolutely. She was at a crossroads. You know, do I go over and take care of these two guys? Carol actually, I think she put friendship before what could have been deemed as the greater good. It worked out for her because she was able to save Jerry and Ezekiel, and then Daryl came right around the corner, and you know, they got the chase scene. So not often that things work out that well, but Carol did make the right choice. All right, I'm going to skip around and just hit a couple more comments here. As I mentioned even in the reaction video last week, these are very raw reactions. There's nothing scripted. We're not, I mean, this is, hey, Kills, how'd you feel about the episode? And I'm just going to kind of open up and tell you guys like my thoughts. And it's not immediately why it's happening, because obviously I'm focusing on some things and some future videos that we're going to do. But still, you know, an hour later, I've got it, had totally processed it, but I have a good idea of kind of where I'm at this point. Because, you know, I'm not going to give you guys those fake reaction videos. They're a little too overly dramatic. And there's always, I'm telling you, there's always a thumbnail of a face like they're completely shocked. And most of us aren't shocked because we know the spoilers. It still doesn't make it less bad. I guess it just makes it a little bit easier to accept. It's a good point, Matthew. Matthew says, still confused of how Jerry didn't die from the guns. Well, what I would say to that is when Ezekiel looked up, he said scatter, and some scattered. Jerry was further away, and they protected the king. Yeah, good point. He said Jerry and Carol came through tonight. They did. You know, the king has been there to support them so much. See, here's, I think, the real paradox is, well, I guess probably more so with irony. The irony is that Carol was injured and Morgan took her to the kingdom. Well, the kingdom's founder. And I think Ezekiel sort of worked to rebuild Carol to a certain extent. Jerry, we don't know all of Jerry's backstory, but probably the same thing. And Shiva, Ezekiel was there for Shiva. And tonight, all of them repaid that debt to the king. Jerry, you know, was right there. If it weren't for Jerry, he wouldn't have made it. He wouldn't have made it past Gunther. Then Carol shooting some of them down and basically saying, you don't get to pick that. You don't get to basically die. So Carol kept motivating him, and then Shiva ultimately giving her life. So I think it's very ironic that Ezekiel's always been there for all of them to help other people, and then tonight he really needed them. And now, whether that's good and bad for the long term, hopefully Ezekiel can fight again, and hopefully he can rally the troops. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if he can overcome it. We do know that Gunther gave us a little bit of a hint and said they wanted Maggie, Rick, and Ezekiel basically at the fence, chained to the fence, tied to the fence, walkers on the fence, whatever. But then he said your head on a pike would be better. So I don't know if that is something for Negan or if that's just a little bit of a foreshadowing of the Whisperer War. Yeah, not, well, the thing is, I guess we don't know how many. I mean, they lost almost all of their soldiers. They lost a good point of it. But it will be interesting to see how many people in the kingdom are left. I'm going to go back and watch some of the prediction videos that we did because back in April and May, well, maybe it wasn't April. Could have been late April, early May. But we started doing the episode by episode predictions, and of course we predicted the Shiva death, and we predicted the Eric death, and we predicted Tobin and Arat would die. We've been off on that. Tobin did get shot, but we did predict these very early on. And where's Lindsay Luke? Because Lindsay Luke said that Shiva wouldn't die till after the mid-season finale. I just want to go back and say we were right and she was wrong. No, I'm not going to rub it in because we've been wrong on a lot of this stuff. But there are some things that we did predict that that have came true before the spoilers. And this is just a group effort, and I think we'll do that again next season because it's interesting to see how all this is going to play out. But yeah, I'm going to check some of those things out just to see how accurate we were. But one of the things that we did say in those early prediction videos was there would be a lot of little skirmishes. We thought Rick would get out of the gates. His group would really gain the upper hand in the war, and they have. And then that Negan would start to turn the tide a little bit, and there would be some devastation. And that really looks like what's starting to happen because a lot of saviors died, but it's pretty close now because there's a lot of kingdomers that got mowed down. Yeah, I kind of did call her out, didn't I, Marty? It's okay. You know what? She calls me out, so it's fair play. Yeah, that's a good point, Nikki. So there were some kingdom people that were with Rick's group, and also that's a great point. And also with Morgan and Jesus. Yeah, it did, Seth. So Seth said, I think the tide of the war did turn tonight. It actually, there's been a couple little victories for Negan's group, right? I mean, Eric and then Francine. I'm sure there's a couple others that were mixed in there, and then a lot of the kingdom. But there's a lot of saviors that have went down too. I mean, I don't have an exact count, but had to be at least 100 saviors so far. Yeah, we did say Daniel. Yeah, we picked Daniel to die. We picked Eric to die and Shiva to die in the first few episodes. So I mean, we've been good with that. And that was away from the spoilers. So you guys know that was 4 months ago. I mean, it was a while. But hey, let me also say, Angus, that was us working through it. So I was throwing some thoughts out there. So I'm not going to say all those were my original predictions because it's hard to mix. It was basically, I think, all of our predictions because we would just kind of throw something out loud and then we'd narrow it down. So I can't tell you honestly which ones were original and which ones were kind of like a combined thought. I mean, I can tell you what are the spoilers now, but like I said, I'm going to go back and check some of it out. Just kind of curious what the predictions were. Yeah, Zane, you might be nitpicking a little bit though. I mean, with that would kind of be like saying there's things you can notice in every episode. I mean, we could break down the realism, but sometimes you just gotta be a fan. Like, for example, when Carol was behind the truck, it was, what, 50 rounds before the window ever got broken? I mean, in that truck, and then you could go back and say, well, I heard them shoot 100 times and there were only 20 bullet holes. That type of stuff, you just got to take it with a grain of salt, man. Rather than the trajectory, it was just more cool that Carol just shot them all. I mean, that was just because then I'd say, well, how did she climb up there without being heard? All those things. It would have given. It doesn't matter. It was just, for me, it was brainless entertainment. I just liked it. I could just sit back and be like, Carol just took some people out. That was the enjoyment. as long as it's not Fear the Walking Dead, bad, coincidental type of thing. Although, I will say, from a, all right, I'm just gonna retroactively take back what I just said. It was very coincidental that as soon as the people left and Carol had to make a choice, that Daryl and Rick were right around the corner. That was good timing. You know, no radio, no, hey guys, we didn't get them, and then bam, there's a chase scene. But they do so much right in The Walking Dead that I can overlook stuff like that every once in a while. Let's see. Hassan says, kills. Who would you want to go to war with? Carol, Rick, Daryl, or Maggie? You know what? That's a great question. I'm going to ask that question for the group as we start to wind down our reactions. Who would you want to go to war with? Let me ask that question for everybody here. I'm going to say Carol and, you know what, Carol or Daryl, either one. Got some Ricks out there. A lot of people are saying Rick. I mean, you can't really go wrong with Daryl right now either, right? That was a pretty epic scene when Rick moved over. He turned to the left and Daryl was like firing on that guy. That was pretty good. Yeah, I was thinking when we did the countdown earlier tonight that we might see a little bit more of that Daryl doing the ruthless killing, but yeah, Rick's on board with it now. All right, we're not going to keep this as a super long stream. We try to keep these around 30 minutes on the reaction. Let me just recap a couple things for the people that logged in that might have missed, because it wasn't super sad mode, and they didn't dwell on it too much. It was a little bit of a quick scene, but you know, I will say tonight for me, the reanimation of the kingdom, that was a little tough to watch and see Ezekiel basically all these people that he'd supported turning on him and literally, and it looked completely hopeless. And then, you know, he finally gets was it Alvaro came over to help him out, and then this guy gets gunned down. So it's like he gets just a little bit of a reprieve, and then his guy gets shot by Gunther, and then he gets tortured. So the path of Ezekiel was pretty rough. And hold on, for our recap, we got Trail Wilson with a super chat donation. Once again, let me recap a couple things for you guys. Anybody that makes a super chat donation, there's a little emoji down there. There's also a $sign. So it is a financial donation. We stop whatever. I stop mid-sentence and just like, whoa. And we talk about and answer the question. So Trail wants to know, what do you believe will happen to Father G in the whole being captured scenario? So we're going to find that out next week. And we did find out a little bit of a sneak peek spoiler that there will be some backstory told next week. So we're going to find a little bit of Negan's backstory. Now, if that happens, that means that there's some dialogue that's taking place between Negan and Father G. So we did see that Negan tackled him, took the gun out, and said, this one has a full clip. But I think that's going to happen, and he's not going to kill him. I think Negan's going to start to talk to him, and there's going to be some dialogue. Negan's going to tell him the story. And I think that they're going to partner to get out of there. But I also think that he's going to be taken hostage and used as a negotiating tool for Rick. So I don't feel like he's going to die anytime soon, but I do feel like that they will work together to get out of the situation because they're completely surrounded. And the guns aren't showing up. We also know that we're going to see Simon. So Simon has a group locked in there, and there's going to be a little bit of conversation between, hey, one of you got us in this situation. So they know there's a traitor. But I think Father G's safe. And thank you for that. Hopefully that gives you at least a good answer. I will tell you, Trail, that we'll do a prediction video on Wednesday, so we're actually going to talk about that in length, so definitely be here for that. And then on Thursday, I'll actually post a live spoiler of what is going to happen. But I would be completely shocked. And, well, and we've also gotten word Father G has filmed after episode number 5. So he's still alive. He's good. Okay, really quick recap. Unless I get in the middle of it and there's another super chat, then I'll stop that again. So just as an overview, that was tough for me to watch. Carol's awesomeness is always great. It's always welcome. You know, she mowed some of those people down, and then even, you know, how awesome she negotiates. She's like, look, I'm completely turned her back on them. Wasn't afraid they were going to shoot her in the back. And then the guy went over and immediately, you know, takes him out and is right back getting the upper hand. Carol can go from having the upper hand to playing innocent to getting the upper hand right back. That was so awesome. And just that pause where she's like, go after the guns, go after them. Got to go help Ezekiel. So no issue with that. And the fact that, you know, as I said earlier, I don't want to downplay the importance that Ezekiel is strong. You know, they showed him kind of dressing up, getting ready, playing the role. You know, like Benjamin told him, when you get the opportunity to play the hero, be the hero. Well, Ezekiel was the hero. And in his lowest moment, Jerry was there. Well, Ezekiel helped Jerry. He paid back the favor. Ezekiel helped Carol. Carol paid back the favor. Ezekiel helped Shiva. Shiva paid back the favor. And when he got back to the kingdom, he was just completely empty. And that's what I'm hoping to, I'm hoping they can rebuild him. I don't know. It might, let me kind of get a reaction from you guys. I'm going to ask one more question. What is it going to take, other than some of Carol's cookies, what is it going to take for Ezekiel to move on? And we will end the stream with that question. And then I'll do some shout-outs after that. So you guys saw Ezekiel broke down. What do you think it's going to take for him to pick up the pieces and start being king again? Could be something to do with that. Was that Daniel's son? That little boy? Actually, or was that Daniel's son, or was that Benjamin's brother? Genesis, Jerry dies. Seth says, get him another tiger. Finding strength again through that kid. Yeah, so that is Benjamin's brother. Okay, cool. It's been a while. I got to go back and catch up. So Benjamin's little brother. Because, you know, he had faith in the king, and then he just looked at him and he walked right by him. So, yeah, he is, that might be his way to carry on. And I also think maybe Benjamin's brother and also just the people, because everybody lost somebody, and I think he feels that guilt, like maybe they're going to turn on him. So, you know, maybe they'll do something to, I don't know, I'll be corny with it, you know, stand outside and pay homage to him or sing him a song or whatever. But I think there'll be some not to that corniness, but there'll be some group thing where he gets his strength from his people. Instead of them blaming him, like, you know, well, they died because of you or they did this, I think something will happen that'll be the opposite, and it'll be like some group display, so they show him that he's still the king. And that'll be what sort of revitalizes him. I mean, that's my opinion. We'll talk about that a little bit. You guys take that down as a note, and on Wednesday we'll definitely dig into that a little bit further. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate all of you guys showing up. This is The Walking Dead, Season 8, Episode 4. These are very raw reactions. We're just putting on a mic, talking, not going through the play-by-play. Tomorrow night we'll get a little bit of a recap for all of you guys, and we'll go through kind of the specifics, and then we'll get some hidden clues and some other stuff up for you guys. Thank you. Appreciate everything you guys do. If you want to shout out, give me a quick 999, and this is the rolling credits, so you guys can roll out or hang around until I do a shout out. When this video goes live, sorry, make sure you get over there and leave comments on the video, and then your comments will be included in some spoiler videos in the future as well. So thank you. Appreciate you being here. Kelly D, JB Smart, Levi Ratster, Julie Despain, Lynn the Zombie Fox Myers, thanks for being here. Deidre Perkins, Zane Thomas, Salem Blue, AJ Jepson, what's up, Jeff Kerrigan, and my mods are awesome. Kel says smile, Emmy Desiree Bacon, Steph the Cuervo Queen, Dark Angel, Tommy Sweet Ass McCandless, Mystic Soul, April Russell, Lady Sticks, what's up? Hassan Shabazz, thank you for being here. Hired Help, what's up, my man? One of my officers over in March to War, Walking Dead game. You guys check that out. Walani, thanks for being here, Walani. Josh Ethier. Diane Estes, Sheila Beasley. Who else we got here? Angus Johnson, thanks. Jenna, appreciate you being here. Halo 3, also. Brene, what's up, Brene? It's all right. You can have a little bit of lag. By the time you watch it, you'll get caught up. Julie King says, her husband said, how cool would it be if Shiva turned into a 500-pound zombie? No! That would be like one of Khaleesi's dragons being, don't want to spoil it. You guys know what I'm talking about if you watch Game of Thrones. Nikki S., what's going on, Nikki? Thanks for being here. Cold as winter. You know nothing, Jon Snow. John 002C, thanks for being here. Rial, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Wrecking Bob, thanks for being here, Wrecking Bob. All right, and I think we're good. If I missed you, just remind me whenever this video goes live. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.